The farming and ranching community is a network of industrious people that share a passion for the land. It's through teamwork and cooperation that we're reminded about the value of how neighbors play a role in connecting us with our rural roots. Let's venture about 30 minutes northeast of Calgary to learn more about working together.
Hi, I'm Sharon Teggart. I farm east of Keoma, and my closest neighbors are Mountainview Hutterite colony.
Sharon, an Irricana native, moved to this property with her husband Hap in 1975.
Our Hutterite neighbors, what would I do without them? I think it was 1985 that Clooney Colony purchased the land next door to us, and so we had a whole bunch of new neighbors, and it very quickly became apparent that we also had new friends, and that's continued to this day. They're absolutely incredible neighbors, although they're not that visible all the time. But a good example is a couple of years ago we had a fire here locally, and if it hadn't been for the colony, the neighbors would have lost their house. I mean, they were out with machinery, manpower, women power, whatever it took to save the neighbor's property, and they did. And in my case, my husband was killed in a farming accident a couple of years ago, and they were the first ones there. And to this day, it's like if I mention anything, I need to, I look around and it's done. So I'd be lost without them, I would be. And it isn't just the big things. The other day, one of my school buses was scheduled for an inspection, and it wouldn't start because it sat here all summer. I phoned the colony, just in minutes. Down came John, helped me get the bus started, said, now you got my cell number, if it stalls on the way to Airdrie, you let me know, give me a call. So that's just the kind of neighbors they are, always there.
Sharon's school bus is often seen on the township and range roads that connect the patchwork of crops in the Wheatland and Rocky View counties.
Farming has changed so much these days universally that farmers have to think outside the box. They can't stick with the same old crops they used to grow. And I think that's one thing that's incredible about the colony is they thought outside the box and built their own canola plant. And of course it's healthy oil.
And one of the things that makes their canola oil unique is the fact that it's cold pressed. It's a formula that takes its time, gently extracting the oil from the canola seeds. Then after a series of filters, is bottled and shipped to several locations, including here, the Cochrane Farmers Market.
This market has been around in Cochrane we're actually celebrating 15 years this year. So it started in 1998. We only have 3 vendors that have been here for the full 15 years, and Mountainview is one of them. So they started way back at the beginning and made the commitment to come out every Saturday. It was actually originally Eddie Hoffer's dad and his mom that started coming to the market, and then Eddie took over in 2003 from them as being the head garden man and looking after the markets. And so they've been just such a mainstay that even when the market was expanding, one of the things that we did was give them a new spot, and that was a bit of a growing pain for them to move down to this end. But if you think of the market in terms of a mall, he was one of our anchors, and we knew that the customers would continue to walk to the end of the new market if Mountainview was at one end.
One of my favorite vendors here is probably Mountainview Colonies because they've been supplying me with cucumbers every year. I make fresh dills, and Eddie and Rose are such kind, wonderful people, and I know them personally now. Over the years we've become friends, and their produce is always fresh, and they have a sense of humor. I bought the canola oil today, as a matter of fact, because I've been hearing a lot of good things about it. And as I understand it, canola oil is so much better for you than other oil choices. And also I prefer to support Eddie and Rosa.
The colorful display of fresh veggies originate from a colossal garden that's meticulously kept in perfect condition. Row upon row of wonderful produce is picked at its prime each Thursday and Friday. Then it's washed and prepared for the Saturday 6 a.m. commute to the Cochrane Ranch Historic Site.
As long as there's been a market, I've been coming. And I'm sorry, I don't remember how many years, but it seems like a long time. It's a wonderful market.
The Cochrane Market runs from the beginning of June through the end of September. And it's no surprise that customers yearn for the farm fresh goodness after a long winter.
We can hardly wait for the market to open again, knowing that we're going to see our friends that we haven't seen for 8 months, as well as the produce. It is a bit of a social gathering in many, many ways.
I think you only have to say Eddie and Rosa and everyone knows who you're talking about. even though they drive quite away from Strathmore and they have to get up pretty early to get out here, we're their market and the only market that they do. So we're really proud that they've continued to stay with us for all this time.
The Mountainview Hutterite colony takes pride in being part of the local farming and ranching community. Through a no-nonsense business principle of diversification, they've made their mark in many other trades. You don't have to look very far to see some of their handiwork dotting the rural landscape. These one-of-a-kind garden sheds and prefabricated greenhouses are made to measure with skill and precision. Another excellent example of craftsmanship is the custom-built cabins that go from concept to completion in just a matter of days.
Here's a colony that's community-based, doing their own thing and supplying us with a healthy food alternative. I just think it's wonderful.
The nearby canola fields seem to electrify the landscape in late summer. Come harvest time, some of the top quality crop will be staying close to home.
Yes, the fact that, well, there's a field right across the road from me, and that's where it'll be going. It's a wonderful thing.
We salute our friends at the Mountainview Colony for building long-lasting relationships with neighbors, and of course, providing us with delicious farm-fresh produce along the way.